Hey everyone, it's Matt aka Tech Ranger, and today we're going to take a look at 3 armor mods that are under 35 megabytes total. We're going to look at an armor mod that actually has an armor piece as well as a weapon, and then we're going to look at 2 other armor mods that actually are modifications to existing armors in the game. I think these videos are pretty important because it shows you guys that there are a lot of mods out there that are pretty small that can actually add quite a bit to your game. Obviously, when we're just talking about 3 different armor mods, there's not a ton of variety there, but it does add a little bit. It'll give you some extra space to add some other mods that I might talk about in the near future as well. Timestamps will be in the description for all of these mods that we're going to take a look at. This is so you guys aren't hunting all over for these mods, even though that they're there. The search function on the Xbox mod page is actually a little hard to use, and sometimes when you search for things you can't find them, so definitely check those out. And if you like this sort of thing and you're new here, subscribe if you haven't already. So I really appreciate you watching, and let's jump into the mods. Finding an armor mod in Skyrim can be pretty difficult, not only because there's a ton of them, but also because there's not a lot that you download and actually have a story to go along with. This one is the exception. The Imperial Dragonknight Armory for 20 megabytes actually adds a little bit of a backstory behind what these armor pieces are. Actually, it's just one armor piece. It's a shield and then a weapon as well, a sword. But you can actually combine that with like Imperial armor if you want, and you get to go to a pretty neat location and discover this armor for the first time. So now let's see how the sword and shield actually look in action. So you might be asking if you can craft this, and you actually can't. You can only find it, but you can improve the shield and the sword. Now keep in mind, on this build I'm actually using the Ars Metallica in my load orders. That will change the crafting abilities and what you can do as far as what materials you might need to actually improve it. As with all the mods in this video, feel free to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Will you be downloading this, checking out, or have you downloaded it and checked it out before? Next up is actually a modification to an existing piece of armor, and it uses even less space than this one. The normal glass armor in the game is not bad. Keep in mind I am using Old Kingdom here. Even in Oblivion, the glass armor looked very different. Maybe you're not a big fan of the green, even though when you think glass you might think green because of Oblivion. Actually, this mod changes the green and actually switches out for red. And because of the space of this mod, obviously it's not changing a whole lot other than the actual color of that particular piece in the glass armor, which is the green accents. It's changing that to red. So how do you actually get the red glass armor? Well, you can actually just craft it, but you will need your existing glass armor in order to craft it. Now I am using Ars Metallica again, which I mentioned earlier in this video, so it might change the actual things that you need a little bit. But if you're wanting to get the blood glass armor, I would definitely have some glass armor on you already. That way it's kind of an easy transition, so to speak. So you actually have that, so you can make the armor and not do it piecemeal like I did, because I actually did not have all the pieces, or I was missing some actual other crafting components. I was just kind of doing it piecemeal, so it took me a lot longer to record this section than I initially thought. And then similar to the last set of armor, you can actually improve this stuff as well. So we've checked out the armor itself, but let's see it in some combat scenarios and see how it looks when it's showing off. And that, I think, is a pretty decent look at this mod. So download it, check it out. It's pretty small. Really like the very subtle look of this because it adds a lot to the glass armor that I felt was kind of lacking from the vanilla game. And even with the Old Kingdom addition to the game, it does look a lot better with the red, especially when you add a colorful backdrop like this one. With the theme of the last mod, this mod is actually a replacer of sorts for the Nightingale armor. It's the Nightingale Phoenix armor, comes in around 35 megabytes, and it's a really cool piece of armor. It kind of looks like when your favorite Marvel character gets the upgrade to their suit, and it looks so much more cooler than the first one. This is pretty much that. While you can actually download a mod that actually replaces the Nightingale armor with this version, it's not something that you might want to do if you don't want to go through the whole Thieves Guild quest again, or if you've already gone through it. Maybe you just want the armor. So you can actually download the standalone version and you'll get that. Also keep in mind with this mod that you can actually craft it yourself, especially if you don't do the replacer version. You will need the ebony smithing perk or the ability to craft ebony, although it is actually in the mist category, but it does kind of have that ebony look to it. And that is the Nightingale Phoenix armor, and I think this one is probably my favorite out of the three we've looked at. Obviously the first one's more of an armor and weapon mod. Second one is a slight modification to like the glass armor. The Phoenix Nightingale armor I think does a really good job of not only adding a color in there, but then also meshing the two together and making like everything look really sharp and good looking. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to do the 3 mods in this video and then look at some more in another video because I did find quite a few mods that don't take up a lot of space in terms of armor and weapons. I definitely want to keep that going. Hopefully we'll be back to our 1 video per week schedule, but we'll see. Don't hold me to that just yet. For now, thank you so much for watching and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.